The chapter opens on a scene of a peaceful deer in the clearing. A moment later, we see the same deer being chased by a fireball. We then see our MC emerging from the direction the fireball came from, saying whoops. He says he thought it was a wolf, continuing to walk holding a fireball. We see a sign showing directions. We see one that says Black Goose Village. We then hear Hans saying, "A monster has been hunted in Black Goose Village." We then see a flashback to Issac's and Hans' conversation. Hans continues to say that he didn't get a good look at it himself. He then says, "But people from the Magic Tower once came to buy it as a research material." Hans continues to say that he caught a glimpse of it back then. He says it looks like a giant spider covered in silver fur. Issac then thinks to himself, if Hans' description is accurate, then that monster is undoubtedly a winter spider. We then see a book of monster descriptions. On the page of the winter spider, Issac thinks to himself, winter spiders aren't particularly strong monsters, but they do form large swarms due to their exceptionally high breeding rate. He believes the true problem lies with the mana that the winter spiders possess. He thinks to himself, if you're exposed to a highly dense mana, then you'll suffer from mana poisoning, which acts like a poison that slowly suffocates you. We then see our MC bending down to pick some herbs. He then says that the children of Black Goose Village must have been poisoned by the mana emitted by the monster. He thinks to himself, however, in this era, knowledge about mana poisoning is so lacking. After he's done picking, he says, this should be enough herbs. He gazes at the freshly picked herbs, saying that feeding this to the children will alleviate their symptoms. He thinks to himself, but the healing effects will only be temporary. To prevent a relapse of the symptoms, the winter spiders must be completely wiped out. He thinks to himself, I could ask my parents for help, but father's normally stationed at the borders, and his mother is traveling across the continent, looking for a cure to his mana explosions. He thinks to himself, if I sit around and wait, Hinder's life will be in danger again. We then see the servant sitting beside her son's bed, watching over him. We then cut to the nanny opening the door to her home, asking who is it. We then hear Issac say, you look exhausted, nanny. We then see that the figure is Issac and the nanny says, young master. Theny asks what brings you here at this hour. She asked, did something happen at the estate? She then gently rubs his cheek, saying, oh my, you're covered in dirt. We then see Issac looking forward with a slightly distracted look. Issac then says, you haven't come to work for days, so I came to check on you. The nanny then says, wait, you can't come in. The nanny continues to say that Hinder has pneumonia. What if you catch it? We then see the anxious-looking nanny and Issac as he starts to take the bag off his back. Issac puts a mask on, saying, is this better? And then the nanny says, but sir. Issac then says, never mind that, just take this, and hands bag of herbs to the nanny. The nanny asks, what is this? Issac then replies, it's herbs. You can crush them or mash them up, put them in a pot and brew twice. Let it cool, then feed it to Hinder. We then see Issac entering the room where the sick Hinder is resting. We then see Issac standing beside the edge of Hinder's bed, who is sick. Issac then thinks to himself, bluish spots, it's definitely mana poisoning. Issac then calls out, Hinder, Hinder, can you hear me? Hinder then opens his eyes slowly. He then says, Issac, with a shaky voice. No, young master, he corrected himself. He continues to say, please, don't fire my mother. Hinder continues to say in a shaky voice, she couldn't go to work because of me. We then see the servant sobbing a little as Hinder, who is off-screen, saying, because I'm sick. Issac reassures Hinder that he won't fire her. He says that your mom is the only one who sneaks me wheat bread, trying to lighten the mood. He says to Hinder, just focus on getting better. We then cut to the sun rising. Its warm glow washes over the land. This is the abandoned mine you were looking for, a man says to Issac. Issac then replies, are you sure this is a limestone cave? The man then replies, yes, I am certain. Issac then says, thank you, I'll take it from here, before tossing the man a gold coin. The man tells Issac to be careful, saying that people have gone missing around here. Issac then replies, thanks for the warning. Issac thinks to himself, winter spiders prefer limestone caves. He thinks, Since this is the only limestone cave in the area, it must be their lair. He summons a ball of light, saying, "Then before I go in, let's do some preparation." We then see that Issac now has multiple floating balls of light surrounding him. He says that last time, by opening up new pathways in my mana circuit, I became able to manifest 3 spells simultaneously. With that, he claims his power is comparable to a second circle mage. He says, however, that there is a limit. If I overdo it, my mana vessel could shatter. He thinks to himself, since I don't know how many winter spiders are in here, I can't just use magic recklessly. That's why I need this, he said to himself. The frost belladonna, usually its berries are diluted, and was used as a paralytic or an anesthetic. It's a deadly poison for winter spiders. We then see our MC grab a handful to think that they live in the same habitat as their lethal weakness. We see our MC is now outside, saying phew. He says, I should have at least brought some gloves. We then see Issac looking down at his hand, which has a rash from the herb. He says to himself, that's enough preparation. I've made plenty of rune stones back at the estate, so I should get going, he says. We then see Issac traveling back into the cave to hunt the spiders. He thinks to himself, dying in a place like this would truly be a pointless death. He glances around and thinks it looks like it's around here, but how does he get down? We see our MC looking nervous as he finds a nearby old ladder that clearly does not look safe at all. A moment later, we cut to Issac climbing down the ladder. We see Issac climbing downward into the cave. Soon he reaches the bottom and says, phew. He thinks to himself, looks I've finally found the right place. He thinks to himself, these corpses on the floor, it looks like all their bodily fluids were drained. He thinks, this is a human collarbone. He thinks to himself, is this the from of the missing people that the hunter mentioned? We then see a terrified look cross over his face for a split second. He immediately summons fireballs. We then see him throw one of the fireballs at a winter spider on the ceiling. He thinks to himself, these things are afraid of fire, so this should keep them at bay for a while. We then see the fire illume 3 winter spiders, all surrounding him. He thinks to himself, I need to prepare before they can swarm me. We then see Issac pull out a mask and put it on his face. He then pulls out the berries he picked from, before placing them in front of him. He glances to the side. He points to the berries, and a gust of wind and embers swirl around them. A moment later, the berries burst into flames, letting out smoke and fumes. We see a green smoke rising from the pot in which the berries were. The smoke begins to spread amongst the winter spiders. Our MC is protected because his mask. He thinks to himself now, then, as the spiders begin to fall paralyzed, one by one. He says, let the hunt begin, in a serious tone, with what appears to be a fireball in his hand, visible only off-screen.